fertilizers. When you start a fish tank or when you first got into the hobby, I doubt you were even thinking about fertilizer. And honestly, I can't blame you because I didn't even think about fertilizers until I was years down the road. Fertilizers can feel a little bit complicating, but once you break it down, it's really not. So, first of all, what are aquarium fertilizers? Fertilizer is a plant food that provides nutrients that your aquatic plants need to grow. Typically, if you just take a plant, even the hardiest plant like an anubis or java fern, and you don't have any type of fertilizer in there, they will eventually die, or at least if they live, they will not grow as large or as quickly as they could with fertilizers. Similar to how garden plants need nutrients in the soil to grow, your aquatic plants also need those nutrients. As you add aquarium fertilizer periodically to your tank, it also helps to replenish it and keep the nutrients up. Do you need fertilizers? Not always. Many beginner plants can do okay without it, but they're just not going to grow quite as well. Depending on your plants and the lighting and the whole setup of your tank, some plants need more fertilizer than others. But just know that most will absolutely thrive with it. Some signs that your plants may need fertilizer would include yellowing leaves, holes appearing in the leaves, so like little pieces that are melting, slow or stunted growth, and plants losing its bright, vibrant color. There are two main kinds of fertilizers for a fish tank. The first is liquid fertilizer. There are different brands, but my personal favorite right now is Easy Green by Aquarium Co-op. I have had really good experience with it. It's relatively inexpensive and it lasts for a really long time. There are also root tabs. Now, one thing to mention is that depending on what plants you get, some will feed from the water column and some will feed through their roots. So with liquid fertilizer, that's going to just stay in the water column, but for plants that feed through their roots, you would need something like root tabs, and those are placed in the soil underneath the plant. Now, I like to skip a step here, and when I am first setting up my tank from the bottom up, if you see this layer here on the bottom, it's kind of dark, that is a planted substrate. This means I don't have to use root tabs. I just put a layer of planted substrate. It's basically these little pellets of clay and different little nutrients all packed together, and then I cap it with a layer of sand. This way, when I take my plant, I just stick it down in there, it grows its roots down in there, and then it soaks up the nutrient. Your plants will not be able to feed off of this forever, but it does last a lot longer than if you just use root tabs. Typically, it lasts around 1.5 to 2 years because I don't plant my tanks very heavily. If you planted your tank really heavily and most of them are relying on the planted substrate, then you might have to eventually start using root tabs once that soil runs out of nutrients. But that is what I currently love to use the most. Can fertilizers hurt your fish? No, they really can't unless you are adding way too much. So remember, when you're adding fertilizer to your tank, always read the instructions on the packaging. The manufacturer knows generally how to best use the fertilizers in your tank. And also, depending on the size of your tank, you would add more or less. And also depending on, sometimes on the intensity of your lighting, they will also recommend more drops. For a beginner-friendly approach, if you're looking to just get into the world of aquatic plants, I always recommend Anubis. There are many different varieties and looks. There's also the Java fern, and a Java fern is a fantastic way to start, but they do still do very well with fertilizers. But you can see how they grow first before you buy a fertilizer. If you find that they are okay and you don't need one growing really quickly, and you don't feel like you really need fertilizer at the moment, then you can completely wait until you feel like this is a necessary step that you need to make. If you see that your plants need them, then absolutely get you some fertilizer and add it. But I do recommend researching the specific plants you have to see if they feed from their roots in the substrate or from the water column. This will help you determine whether you need to buy liquid fertilizer or root tabs. Some common mistakes when incorporating fertilizer into the tank that people make are, number one, adding it because everyone else does. You don't necessarily need it, but if you find that your plants could be a little healthier, then it's a good move. overdosing to try to force faster growth. This is a horrible idea, and I will tell you why. Algae thrives off of excess nutrients. If you are overdosing in your tank, you will have a huge boost of algae in your tank. You could also have a big boost of biofilm, and your tank's just going to look dirty. It could potentially spike certain levels of things in your tank that can threaten your betta. But as far as I know right now from personal experience, if you add too much, either on purpose or by accident, it's gonna put a lot of algae in your tank. And if your tank is really nice and clear right now, you do not want an algae outbreak, trust me on that one. Expecting fertilizer to fix every plant problem. Fertilizer is fantastic for plants, but if your plant seems to be suffering from something else, may not necessarily be fertilizer. Sometimes, and I will say this really quickly, if you get a new plant and you add it to your tank and you notice that the leaves start to melt, this is completely normal as long as it has access to nutrients. A lot of times this is called melting, which means the plant is getting adjusted to your tank and eventually will grow bigger and healthy plants. So don't freak out, just let it settle in your tank and it should be completely fine. Ignoring the lighting and overall tank conditions can also be a mistake as well, because sometimes, like I said earlier, if your lighting is lower or if you keep it kind of high, then that can change the amount of dosing that you need to be doing with something like the liquid fertilizer. So again, always read the manufacturer's directions on how to dose it and in what situation. Now for the final takeaway. Fertilizers are incredibly important. I noticed that as soon as I started using it in my planted tanks, my plants grew faster. They were a nice bright green. They were a lot healthier. So it's definitely a good move. My little hack, I don't know if you can call it a hack, but really, my little hack right now for plant health is to have a full spectrum light. You need a full spectrum light, not just an LED. Full spectrums will copy the wavelengths of the sun, which will encourage photosynthesis. Also, I love to just add, when I'm first setting up the tank, some planted substrate. This will keep my plants going for about 1.5 to 2 years. From that point, usually I will just tear it down and create a new tank, or sell it and create a new tank. So as of right now, I've never run into issues with it running out because I don't usually keep it that long. But if you did, then you could eventually decide to use root tabs for your plants if they are root feeders. And lastly, start simple with the fertilizers. A lot of plants will feed from the water column, but you definitely want to know what kind of plant yours is and what its feeding requirements are, just so that it can be the healthiest it can be. Do you use fertilizers in your tank? If so, what has been your experience with it? Also, what brands do you use and what brands do you highly recommend to beginners or someone who just has no idea what in the world they should use first? Help us out. Help a fellow fish keeper out. I would love for you to put that in the comments. Also, when you go down to comment your experience with fertilizers, you will likely see a pinned comment. That pinned comment with the link is going to lead you to my ultimate Betta Care ebook. This ebook is an incredible resource. If you hit the link, it will take you to the website that will tell you all about it. But essentially, this book is just going to take you A to Z through everything you need to know about Betta Care. It tells you about the plants. It tells you about how to set up your tank, choosing your tank, feeding your betta, dealing with betta sicknesses. Everything you need to know is in that book, and it is chock full of pictures because every other book out there just does not have enough pictures. So my friend, with that said, go check out the ebook and comment your thoughts on fertilizers. Do you recommend it or do you not? Do you have a horror story with it? I look forward to seeing your comments. And with that, you have a fantastic rest of your week or weekend, no matter when you are watching this. God bless you, my friend. May you have a wonderful day. Say hello to your fishy for me, and I will see you in the next video.